Askidanga Namaskar. Avraam Ami Season 3 Episode 7 tunga askiyanga ava avagiri mijku ಪ್ರಯೋಗನ್ ಬೋಲ್ಡಿಸಿ ತುರ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಗಣೇಶ್.
ಅಸ್ಕಿರಂಗ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಮೀ ಕುಮರೇಶ್ ತಿಮ್ಮ.
ಹಿಂದ ಅವ್ರ ಎಪಿಸೋಡ್ ಮೈ ವತ್ತಕರಂಜಾರಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೊಂಡ್ಮಿನಿ ಸಂಗೇದಿ ಎಂಗ ಅಚೀವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬತ್ತಿ ಸಂಗುಣಂ ನದಿ ಕುಮರೇಶ್ ದ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ಥೋಡ್ರ ಅಸ್ಕಿರ್ಲ ಅರಿಯ
ಮೊರಗೆ ವೇಷಮಸಿ ಸೇದಿ ಕಳಗ್ಯಾರಾಯಿ ಯೂತ್ ಮಿನಿ ಮೆಲ್ಲಿಗಿನ ಅವರಿಯ ತೆಲ್ಲಾದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಗಿನ ಸಂಗುವಾಯಿ ಬಟ್ ಅವಿಗಿನ ಇಲ್ಲ ಆమె అవరామ్ అమి ఫోనానుమో జుగు ఏజ్ గ్రూప్ అవి సీద్రియ ನನ್ನ పిల్లల్రిಲಿ ಮೊಟ್ಟ ಮೆನ್ ಗ್ಯಾನ್ರಲೆಂದು ಸೀದ್ರಿಯ ಬಟ್ ಅತ್ತ ಹಿಂದ ಅವರಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಕಾಣಮನದಿ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಯಂಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮೆನ್ ಮೆನುವಾಯಿ ವೆನ್ ನನ್ನ పిల్లలు సిఐసి బట్ నసి వత్తగరత ముసున పిల్లలు ನನ್ನ పిల్లలు హాలి ఆబ్వియస్ కను బట్ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಯ ಅವಿಗಿನೋ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಯಂಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫೋನಾನು ಸೊ ತೆಂಗ ಸಂಗಾಡಿ ವತ್ತಗರತ ಅವಂಗ ಅವಿಗಿನ ಜುಕೋ ಸಂತೋಷ ಕನ್ ಲಗರಿಯ ஏன்னா லிட்டரலி கோணம் நதி அவுட் ಆಫ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಮನಂಗೆ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ மாதிரி ಥ್ರೂ ಔಟ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಮವಿನ್ ಜುಗು ಸಾಧನೆ ಕೆರ್ರಿಸಿ ತಲಪತಿ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾ ಸಂಗೈ
आता सो तुम्ही कूलर्स तेलियावे अविगिनो यूथ ಮೆನಿದ ಕಳತುಚಿಯ ಮೀಮೆಲಿ ಅವಿಗಿನ ಮೊರ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಗವಿ ಕೈಕೈಗಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಕೆರ್ತ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಸಂಗುಣ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸಿ ಹೈ ಹಿಂದ ಅವರ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅವಿ ವತ್ತಕರಂಜಾರಿ ಹರ್ಷಿನಿ ಮಾಯಿ 2022 ಪ್ಯಾರಿಸುಂ ಚಲ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಆಸ್ಟ್ರೋನಾಟಿಕಲ್ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್സും ಒಂದು ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಕೆರಿಸಿ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಕರತ ಬೆಳವಿ ಮಾಯವಿ 11th ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಮು ಚೋದ್ಲು ಹೋದಿರ್ತ ತೇಡಾವಿ ವತ್ತಕರ closely 10,000 people savigin vatagiride delegates avi vatagiriya telamavi one of the youngest speaker many avigine mai gavi recognize kerrasi moreover mai kera research paper avi kaimin sangyas mnadi ami kaga avili out of the world many amni tungavi barpodagi mai avigino ಮಾರ್ಸ್ ಅವಿಗಿನ್ ಸೆತ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರ್ಮು ಸಾಯಿಲುಮ್ ಸೆತ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅವಿ ದೆಕ್ಕಿದರ್ತ ಒಂಡ ಮೆಷಿನ್ ಸೆತ ಕೈ ತೆಲ್ಲ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಕೋಣ ಅವಿಗಿನ್ ಲೈಟ್ ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಕೆನ್ ಕೆರುವಾಯಿ ಅತ್ತ ಜಿಸೆತ್ತ ಒಂಡೆ ತೆಲ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಐ 40 kgs ರಂಗು ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಹೈಮ್ನ ಓ ತೆಲ ಕೋಣ ಅವಿ ಲೈಟರ್ ಕನ್ ಕೆರುವಾಯಿ ಮೆನಿ ಒಂಡ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಲಿಕಿರಿಸ್ ಆತ ಅಸ್ಕೆಂಗ ಕಳೈರೈ ಕಾಗೋಚೆವದಿ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಮನಿ ಶಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಗಾನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ತತ್ತಿ ಅವಿಗಿನ್ ತನಕ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ತಿ आम्ही त्याला मध्ये ಒಂದು ಇಂಟ್ರೋ ದಿಯೆಯ ಸೊ ಕೈದಿ ಅಂಗ ಕಳೆಯೇ ಆಮಿ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟ್ರೋಮ್ ಸಂಗಿರಿ ಆಮಿ ಮಾಯಿಗೂ ಬೋವಿ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಕಾಯ್ ಮಾದರಿ ಅವಿ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಅವಿ ತನಕ ಕೇರಿತ ಕೋಣದಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರ ಕೋಣ ಹೋಯಿಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾಯ್ ಅವಿ ದಾಗ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ ಹೊದೆಯ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾದರಿ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಕರ್ತ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವರುನ್ ಪುರ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಆಮಿ ಮಾಯಿ ಜೊಲು ಪುಸಿ ಕಲಲುಡ್ಡೆಗನ್ ಆವ್ ಮೈ ಹರ್ಷಿನಿ ಮೈ
Hi, Askidanga Namaskar. Tumide intro avi very very humbling and hodasi and tunga coolers avi moga dori kerare mari. You look very good.
Yeah, Kumar is the head here.
ಹೆಟ್ಟಲ್ವಾ
Yeah, mai tor ನಾವು tor family pati sangi mai.
Okay, so mora now Harshini, me kuchun ghuma bedki. moga onde bhain malisata mora amba madureri mora papa tirucheri so me palkar vatamu the different dialects ghuma vatakeru. That's about it.
ಅವ್ರದೆಲ್ಲ ಅವಿ ವತ್ತಕೆರರಿಯ ಹರ್ಷಿನಿ ಮಾಯಿಗ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಸೌರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಅಚೀವರ್ಸ್ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಯಂಗ್ ಅಚೀವರ್ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ಅವಿಗಿನ ಅತ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಗಣವಿ 2024 ಅಬ್ಬಿರಿಯ ಮಾಯವಿ ಪೇಪರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಕೆರೆ ಅವಿ 2022 ಅವಿ ಪ್ಯಾರಿಸ್ ಉಂಜಿ ಅವಿ ಪೇಪರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಕೆರುದ ಆತ ಮಾಯಿಜೊಲೆ ಅವಿ ಪುಸಿ ಕಲಲ್ಲೆಂಗನು ಸಂಗಿ ಮೈ ತಗೋ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಏರೋಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಮಣತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅವಿಗಿನ್ ಕೆನ್ನ ಮಣತ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅವಿ ಕೊಬ್ಬವೆಯ
So Hana Pillar Hathalri, I think 8 years Hathalri mo space mari juko pai Kalpana Chawla, Vikram Sarabhai, enga pura si avi juko inspire hoita. So my journey avi tiso hoyasi in 11th tum chodler Hathalus mogavi kadi kerno men lavasi. So me avi more team set professors in pura on the email hadita. Because I wanted to see if I could shadow a professor or tenu kerari research mo ni go ji assist keruwa hina assistant mari jawaya mani hebba tisona mail likita tengochi in at Bangalore mo RV College of Engineering and Institute sata gin tenu third avi on the HOD of Aerospace Engineering Professor Kulkarni tenu avi mora email si tenu juko son dos podias gin tenu avi so tengo students avi on a I think 14-15 papers avi tenu present publish kar rahi hai on a conference mu so tala conference malli tu jasya minimum invitation tenu deya gin tala time avi mo kai hoy mani kalani ni ni direct gan pusti mohal research karta musaya mohal moro own research karta like can I write my own research paper many pusita and I got all the support that I needed 2 seniors avi moga assist kare asle paper likata mam and yeah that was it actually the research idea specifically was an inspiration that I took from my chemistry class so me class mu ami spectrometry pati ami cholle hodaya and then I was really interested in its applications and so at that time I think the Perseverance rover avi tena launch kari hodaya so I wanted to see how the Perseverance rover collects its samples and how how are we going to understand the surface of Mars etc so yeah so GCMS was something that really stood out to me and then I discussed it with the seniors over there at RV and we came up with a brilliant idea and that's about it.
Actually, astrophysics is one of my favorite again. Me chodiri ani,
It's incredible.
मी अभी इलान मस्क गया तेला प्रावी वो follow करो Mars जाते हैं तेला मैंने गिनो so Mars program or in general ASCII astrophysics related अगर हम interested है और particularly Mars related aspects आ रही है and follow up question अभी गिनो काउची तेला particular field वो पा रही है
Isaskin here I mean Mars as we know obviously to me Sange Madri Elon Musk a lot of them are really interested in colonizing Mars and making it our second home. Like Tisan here, I just want to learn more about the world that we live in and the world that we're not exposed to in one sense. The reason why space interested me, so it was just an alluring thing. The space menaria, astronaut kanharia, Ingrid, space rockets talalamam it was very alluring but it kind of more values more personal values move clashes this like to chodi di I mean space tourism pati kalaya so I think that's one of Blue Origin's future visions.
Right.
And oh so you're just you're planning to study your entire life just to help rich people get to space. What about the other people? To help create mengana bhi juku unna ganthai. So to ikke chodi ikke keti, who are you helping ultimately? Many satal, there were like clashes in that sense. But me tala conference jaja mogonda kales at that point. Ami on the as people in aerospace ami kai san ami unjasi ami pusan we're always looking ways to get up there or create and solve ways to reach space and things like that but anga kalai I mean fundamentally we know we cannot do it alone. We need to collaborate. We really need so we need countries, we need engineers, scientists, a lot of people from a lot of different diverse backgrounds to collaborate when it comes to space. And I think that sort of also helps us realize, we are just one insignificant species on a floating rock called Earth. And I think it's so important that this field is very special to me because it helps you cultivate that oneness that you feel with people all around the world, that you realize that, the person next to you is not very different from what you are. They're still, made of the same, well, if I were to say cosmic elements as you are. So I think that's why it really, really inspires me and gets me going.
So avigino torosu taya maturity somewhere avigino like 1,000 times more understanding sangade vi vatta kare dismenigina avigino mogalagarasi ata kaidir heka imle avigino tu la research paper aski likitite ekitirta tala international tala arena amji avigino onda present kenna manatawala nervousness manate avigino askidangar hai tala kon nanu hekai muttanu hekai tala ikka expert kan heka imli tala vir hai तो कोण त्याला ओव्हरकम केरिसी त्याला
Mhm.
कोणता त्याला काँग्रेस गतम आमची एवी वत्ता किरतमे त्याला पती वो सांगी माई
So normal gan mogo avi on the panch mengan jo vata kya manadi me jukku dhakku. And I think that's kind of normal, as you correctly pointed out, Bay. And yadavarya mengan avi. So yes, I will be talking in front of 30 people, but they're not my classmates. They're not more kale denu. They're not people of my age. These people are scientists, engineers, world leaders doing incredible things, and they've come here. They've been selected by a careful community of very important people. And Tenga Somar, they're all experts in what they're doing. They probably have their experience in this field is longer than my life, like my time on this earth. So it was definitely very, very nerve-wracking. But I knew that when I was presenting, I knew that, the stuff that's behind me is a research that I've been working for weeks on end. And I know what I've done. And this is my time to give it back to myself and to present, to show them that this is the work that I've done, and to explain to the best of my abilities, and to keep it as simple as possible. That was one thing that I was very keen on doing. What I was really concerned about was then what on the question pustias medi motala answer karani medi juku embarrassing and how many how do you see. But at that time avi my father mara baba avi tenu juku assure ke sange tella see to kalana medi kalana mente accept care tera to kalana to accept care this to hal sikilata musai many tenu sange healthies I was able to overcome that nervousness. So to anyone that's watching, nervousness, yes, it is quite common. But khobuyum tumi kaga yet seta many ege tumi kalalua. And again, please tala di vata mogo kalani many sangatamam juko embarrassment konniya feel kernangan. Don't be ashamed of saying I don't know. Tengu tumi tala sange aljadagos you will learn. You will get to learn a lot of things. And yeah, that is something that's very important to me.
Super, actually, two things illa maamu. First, vadivel onda padamum manage building strong, basement weak menigina. Moga attamli avigino mic khaliyasmana mudula avigin hatpayasi wo wadaral ganu rahi tala vadi hoy. So you overcome that. Tele mari thro baba sangya kalani me sangida ke mujja tele sangadi onda full stop soli jilera hoy tala madri. It's very nice. அடுத்த question காய்மனதி தோர profile says manadi to different topics research karina present karisi sile avigin contrasting topics many wide like premature menstruation tala madri asi so illa mari pra khalluna manata kona onda motivation avesi and kai different topics to avigin cover karisi adin.
Sure. So premature menstruation me research explicit kan karini me on the organization hanam karita with the name of Project Field kin tengudami avin hanna pillanugu periods patti me sikadidan ato already anga kalai stigma around menstruation periods avi tenu on a natural process kan menyan sarani rather a very disgusting inconvenience kan saras, a nuisance kan saras. And I think that the lay stigma avi school mali me personal gan experience karita. So I mean 5th to 6th chodle hatalu yeah, I mean uvadenga still senam dudur honu. But tenga mali our teachers pura vata kernago pad pajamana to hallu ji mainu tellele like chair mavi ege hoyes menadi senam cover kerno. So school we were taught to be ashamed of it. And even kuni proper education, kuni proper information here about menstruation in any particular institute or bharaji siklatagu or like school mali siklatagu, it's not properly organized. I mean, Amba Pusias Mali, she'll tell you what she knows and to the best of her abilities. But there's no proper way in which, kids can understand what goes on into their what's going on in their bodies. And Tengudu's, I think, project Feel makes a difference because we already know how difficult it is for a normal teenager to go through menstruation. But it brings in a lot more complications. And so at Project Feel, what I do is I hope to speak to the world in one sense. I empower young teens by discussing with them about menstruation, telling them what actually happens in their body, and finding ways in which we could deal with the physical and emotional problems that they may go through. And in the future, I think it's really important for the medical community in particular to take research in women health and wellness very, very seriously. Because even now that we don't have, we still have to use period products that contain a lot of harmful substances. We don't have a cure for dysmenorrhea or painful period cramps or morning sickness and things like that. We're just told to deal with it, or we're given painkillers at the best, but no one really takes the time and effort to understand what's going on in a woman's body. And they always, end up calling us, oh, women are crazy and things like that. So that is something I like to do with Project Feel. And another thing that is really important to me is sustainability and planet Earth. As folks in space, we may give assumptions. We tell you that Mars could be our next home, but I think, and we also get a lot of criticism from it. Tumi Mars pati jata bata kara rasi, but Earth tumi sila rani, and that is true. We should take more steps into taking care of our planet because illa ora ghamma. And believe us, we've tried finding other planets. And until then, we still need to keep our home clean and help out as much as possible. Yeah, that's.
तू सांगे मादिरी मी अविगिनो तेल पुसुना केली होता यूजुअल गा आम्ही ఉండదంగా అవిగిनो ಎಲ್ಲ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಮೋ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸತ ಗೆರಿ ಅವಿ ಉಂಟನು ಸಂಗೀತ ಆಮನದಿ ಆಮಿತಂಗ ಅವಿಗಿनो ತೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಮುದನು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸತ ತೆಲ್ಲ ಬತ್ತಿ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಕೆಲ್ಲರ್ ಹಾನ್ ತೆಲ್ಲ ಬತ್ತಿ ಚೋದಿಲರ್ ಹಾನ್ ಮೆನ ಮಾದಿರಿ ಉಂಡ ಆಮಿ ಹೌಡುಲುವ ಯೂजुअल ಗನ್ ಆತ ತು ಅತ್ತಗರ್ ರೇಸಿಯಸ್ ಮನದೆ ಅವಿಗಿनो मी स्पेस पत्ती मो इंटरेस्ट आता मी त्याला पत्ती अवी चौधरता रिसर्च करता पेपर लेकरता अस्की ओके सी रिहत काय मिली अवी आता मी जीवरिय ब्लॉग मवी काय चलरसी ಅವ್ರ ಸಂಗಾಡಿ ಸೇತಂಗ ಅವಿ ಕೊಳ್ಳ ಮಾದ್ರಿ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಖಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು ಮಿನಿ ತೆಲ ಮಾದ್ರಿ ಪ್ರ ತಿಂಕರ್ ಹುಡಸ್ ಮನದ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಜುಕು ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ ಲಗರಸಿ ಒಂಡ ಕಳಮುಗ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಮೆನಿ ಅವಿಗಿನ್ ತೆಲ ಪತ್ತಿ ಪ್ರ ಪೊಂಗೆಂಗ ಕೊಣಿಕ್ಲಾನ ಡಿಕೇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗೋ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಮಾರ್ಸ್ ಮೆನಿ ಮನದ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಅಂಗ ಕಾಯಿ ಕ್ಲೈ செவ்வாய் தோஷம் மெனிப்பராய் மீ வத்தகில்ல ஹுதய தெல்ல களம் ஜீகினோ ತೆಗಾಡ್ದು ಒಂಡ ಕಳಮುಗ ಅವಿಗಿನ್ ತೆಲ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಮೂವೀಸ್ ಅವ ತೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾದಿರಿ ಸವೆ ತವರ ಅವಿಗಿನ ದುಸರ కొని ಕಳೆಯಿನಿ ಬಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಅವಿ ತೊರಮಾಯಿ ನಹ್ನ ಹೊಡಾನ ಅವಿಗಿನು ತೆಲ್ಲ ಪತಿ ಅಂಗು ಚೊಕ್ಕಡ್ ಕಳಲ್ಲಿ ತೆಲ್ಲ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಕೆನ್ನಗೆರಿ ಅವಿಗಿನ ಹೌಡರಿ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಚುಕ್ಕು ಸಂತೋಷಕನ್ ಲಗರಸಿ ತೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಮ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಅವರ ಸಮೂಹ ಮುರಿ ಅವಿಗಿತು ಅವಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆರರಿ ಅವಿ ಅಂಗು ಸಂತೋಷಕನ್ ಲಗರಸಿ ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲಿ ತು ಅವಿಗಿನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೀಟೀನ್ ಮೆನ್ಸುರೇಷನ್ ಪತಿ ಅವಿಗಿನು askinga kalanna ji pilan ji watta kenna tele stigma avi watta anga watta kartagu savigin tella onde ege seta angumili onde hesitation seta tella ninata avi watta kenna geri howdari aviginu onde chokkod vishaymusi ata aviginu ata kittatta avigin our next question tellas avra samugam gavi tu kai sanguna geri howdarta geri mostly tu sangeeta rai gerla geriya angu kaidi doga avigin avra men can particularly Avraam Ami isar Hawaii. ಎಲ್ಲ ಸತೆ ಚೊಕ್ಕಡ್ಸ ಮೋ ಪಾರಸ್ ಮಿನಿ ಕೈದಿ ಒಂಡ ಸಂಗುಳ್ನ ಗೆರೆ ಹೊಡಸ್ ಮನ ತುವಲ್ಲಕು ಸಂಗುವೈ.
Okay, sure. So Palgargandhi obviously like Madurai tavira kon bharad gamam segi tenga illa atami vatakiran jare duku personal gan lavai. Ami konyon danu avi tu kai vatakere what's your hometown this is a pusadi ami onda 2-3 seconds avi o inga ju kai vatakere kai manata mani ona mari ege lavai. You kamna Saurashtra Menari avi dukudenga koni kalana. Me mostly the most responses that I've heard is are you lying? Is that a real language? Or is it something related to Maharashtra and things like that? And so my message to the Palkar community in particular would be to embrace your roots. Because yes, you will be challenged with your identity. And but let them know. Hi, dusra denu avi tu code ri aur tamni sangatamam tengo onda watamu mujhe. Anga तीन चार sentences sangi hono. Tela sangua. It's fine. Let them know. And but you know, ila horia halti this will also play out to your biggest strengths. Kona mani siyas manadi anga kalai, you know what it feels like to be left out, to not fit in many. So I think ila somar kai sangata better than koni danga understand kerata musna. So always try your best to not make anyone else feel that way, to not make anyone else feel left out. And so don't feel ashamed to talk in Saurashtra. Palkaram mother kertamam mijuku ashamed gan khalunangan. It is our mother tongue. Ami ika musayaski tika vata karangan palkaram. And angonna manadi you have to be outstanding in your field. At the TM Soundarajan Khalyas manadi dukudenga Saurashtra mana kai mani kalai tenu ika extraordinary gan sata halti. So to everyone who is watching, be outstanding in your field, because that will be your step that you'd be taking to tackling this identity crisis that the future youth have to feel. So yeah, that is something that I'd like to say. And like I spoke about earlier, people like me in aerospace, you know, we really start looking at people as your own. The next person to you is no different than you are. And yes, there will be differences, but learn to accept and respect them. And yeah, and like always, do what you like, do what you love. Tumo pe te tumi kerua. And that's my message to our community.
Chokot message mai. Actually, avigino jugudano avra sondam gaamuri dusra strategigino jivaria. அடுத்து அவங்கino அவுட் ஆஃப் த வேர்ல்டு ஜீவத்த மாதிரி மில்லி அடுத்த சான்ஸ் அவை அவங்கள்ட 25-30 வருஷம் சேஸ் மனதி மூணும் ஜிஜிவாய் ஆர் மார்ஸும் ஜிஜிவாய் வி டோன்ட் நோ. ಸೊ ತಿಸನಿ ಮನತೋಳ ಅವರ ರೂಟ್ ಅವಿಗಿನೂ ಹೌಡಂಜವಳ್ಳವನ ಅವರ ವೇರ್ ಹೌಡಂಜವಳ್ಳವನ ಮನರಿ ಅವಿಗಿನೂ ಚುಕ್ಕ ಚೊಕ್ಕಟ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್. ಸೊ ಏರೋಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಪತಿ ಒತ್ತಗೆರೇನಿ ಆತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾದರಿ ಏರೋಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಆಸ್ಟ್ರೋಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾದರಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಪತಿ ಅವರ ಯಂಗ್ಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಕೋಡ್ ರಿಲಿ ಕಳಲ್ಲ ತುಮ್ಸೈ.
Okay, so aerospace interest aata manadi mulla kai kene manadi you have to know what's happening in our industry. So tella mi tumi avi newsletters, YouTube videos, movies, etc padi kalalwai, and follow the missions that are being carried out by every space agencies around the world. At ISRO hoedi, NASA hoedi, ESA hoedi, and commercial like SpaceX, Blue Origin, Bellatrix, Dhruva. Enu pura kai keras men huwa kalaluwa. Tunga uba kalaladis tunga avi you know onde tunga kalai kai horas kai chalares many, and that will further that will further cause you to be more curious, and curiosity is always the first step into anything. And don't hesitate to reach out to professors in aerospace. Tenu proper guidance tenga halu detamu sai tele meemali karita, and always harness the power of using cold emails. And obviously I'll be more than happy to engage with people who are interested in aerospace or mensuration or anything of that sort, so you can always reach out to me as well. And yeah, that is something that our youth can do.
ಓಕೆ ಮೈ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಂಡು ಸಂಗಿಸಿ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಸಿಲೇಸಿ ಆತಂಗ ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ಅವಿಗಿನ ಕೆಯ್ದಂಗ ಅವಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪತ್ತಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ರವಾಯ್ ಮೊ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆತ ಆನ ಅವಿಗಿನ ತೆಲ್ಲದ ಪತಿ ಅವಿ ಅಂಗು ಮಿ ಚೊಕ್ಕೊಡ್ ಕೊಣಕಲ್ಲತ ಕಾಯಿ ಕರತ ಮಿನಿಗಿನು ಹರ್ಷಿನಿ ಮಾಯಿ ಸಂಗೆ ಮಾದರಿ ಅವಿಗಿನ ತೆಲಪ್ರ ಫಾಲೋ ಕಿರುವ ಮಾಯಿ ತಂಗ ಇಮೇಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಮಿ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಲೆಟ್ ದೆವೆಸಿ ತುಮಿ ತಂಗಮ್ಲಿ ಅವಿಗಿನು ಮಾಯಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವಿ ರೀಚ್ ಔಟ್ ಕೇರಿ ತೋರ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಅವಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಕೆಲ್ಲುವ.
ಸೊ ಅತ ಅವಿಗಿನೋ ಇಕ್ಕಗಡಿ ಜುಕುಯ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆನ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರವತ್ತಗಲದೆ ಒಂದ ಫನ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಸಂಗನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅವಿಗಿನೋ ಜುಗದ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಮಸಿ ಪುಸರಿ மாதிரி புசஞ்சாரியா where do you see yourself in 10 years அதாவது அங்கண்ட 10 வருஷம் இல்லாது 15 வருஷம் இல்லாது ஹர்ஷினி மனதி கோட் ராயி காய் காம் கரர் ஹை और கொல்ல ஃபீல்டும் ராயி.
Great question. So mogo avi I think 10 years alja me world tour onde musiravu because mo juku places gen cultural experience keratochi mo 10 years mulla mo on the world tour finish kenne mani sata. But career wise me sayas manadi I will still be in the aerospace field, but I think technical is sorry over falcha kalama malgo non technical into diplomacy and international relations tala type javu. So I see myself at UN USA United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs as the head of organization there if things go well. And Mogavi, I really want to bridge countries, people, and everyone through space. And I think that would be my future goals and plans.
Okay, Mai. Cokot goal si. Toro goal avi timi achieve kenna giri ami Avraam Ami team umpri tunga wish kellaria. Saurashtra Global Achiever Awards gavigin tunga Youth Achiever Award dietaga tumi avi more a deserving candidate minimally ami feel keraria. Angu in future mavigino more success tunga abuna jukko achieve kenna. Avra program gavi angudala avi tumi avi vatta kenna giri ami avigino tunga avi jukko wishes kellaras. Jukko dhannamai.
All the best and congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me to your YouTube channel, to especially the Avraam Ami chapter. It's really been very, very humbling. Thank you so much.